You're magic people to me. Hold your head up high, let your voices fly. I'm proud to be Māori.
All right, kia ora te whānau, welcome back to the Planting Seeds podcast. Very fortunate to have a brother, a friend here joining us today, and he has a bit of a journey and a story to share, and something that I guess I've been sort of privileged to be a part of, I guess, in that transition period. So, Brother Te Amo, welcome to the show, brother.
Bulkgains, brother. No. Thank you for having me, my bro, and I appreciate you and your guidance here, bro. Been a huge help over the years for myself as well, bro. And when I'm going through a phase of my life, you've always been there for me. So, just rolling off the back of a lot of the things that you've practiced and preached out there, it's just been a huge help for myself. So thank you, brother.
No, awesome, bro. And it's honestly been awesome just to see the transitions that you've had, and I guess, how we just had that morning this morning, just to see where you're at now and just fully opening yourself up to feel, to acknowledge, to dream, to heal. All of those kinds of things is just the space that you're comfortable in at the moment. And so, for those who might not know who you are though, brother, just give us a little bit of a lowdown of your, just like your upbringing, how things were, and just a little bit about yourself.
Kia ora whānau, ko mauna pōhatu te mauna, ko ohotu me o te nuku nā marae, ko te pōtiki me te pohotaha tū o te ao nā whare tūpuna, ko te whānau pani me nā tikaura nā hapu, ko mātātu o te waka o hini mataru o te awa, tū hoi te iwi, no tāne atua hau, no Te Amo Mclean hau. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Te Amo Mclean. I'm from small country town, Tāne Atua. Been brought up there, lived there 24 years of my life before I decided to make the big move over to Aussie. It was a big move for us to get over there, especially for myself. Growing up in Tāne Atua, we had a lot of awesome childhood memories. We had the best upbringing in terms of like creating our own memories and stuff like that. So that's a little bit about me, whānau.
And awesome, bro. And being in part of a small country town, Tāne Atua, just a little bit away from Whakatane, what are some of the things that you feel you can be grateful for now, bro, with this new lens that you have?
I'm just really grateful for our whenua, grateful for our for the upbringing that I did have. Grateful for life. I'm so grateful for everything, bro. I never used to be grateful for anything because I had no vision, I had no goals. I was just stuck in this rut of just working for other people my whole life. I was couldn't see 5 meters in front of me, bro.
And do you want to talk a little bit about that, bro? Like what that I guess lifestyle was like for you in terms of not being able to see 5 steps in front of you, or not necessarily having the tools that you have now around gratitude. And so take us through that, bro.
So my whole journey, I've come from obviously Tāne Atua, where there's been a lot of gain and violence, and I know a lot of people can relate to it as well, but I got caught up in a lot of fighting and all of those types of things, and hurting people and projecting my mama onto other people, and I couldn't feel, bro. I couldn't feel. I had no emotions. I was just a blank canvas, and I didn't really care. I really didn't care, and it took a toll. It took a toll, bro. And then my parents kind of set me down and they said, you only got 2 options. You're going to end up dead here, patched up and doing stuffed up shit. And I made the decision to move over to Australia. And it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me, bro. It's been the best thing that kind of ever happened to me. I'm surrounded by beautiful, lovely people that just want the best for you. Awesome community of friends, bro, that just love. And I've never, had that in my life, bro. And just really beautiful.
It just seems as though, like, because I've had similar experiences, that sometimes we need to remove ourselves from environments in order to sort of like grow and develop. Me moving over to Australia was the exact same thing, but I left because I was just hurt, and I think you left because that was the only alternative option that would give you a chance, I guess. And when you reflect on that, bro, and you reflect on that one decision and the chance that you had, you've really maximised it, You've really leveraged that chance to sort of like get you to this point now.
Yeah, well, my turning point for me, bro, when my life changed was stepping into that space with men's medicine. And it was that one walk, bro. I've been living over in Australia for like 6 years now. And when I done that one walk with men's medicine, bro, it changed my life because I've never been able to release it. I didn't even know that I was carrying anything, bro. You know, I didn't know anything like that. But to be exposed with all the shit and all the mamai and, you know, to be exposed in the way that I did, bro, I was literally in this breathwork saying sorry to everybody that I had hurt, everybody that I kind of, you know, butted heads with, and, you know, all of that type of stuff. And then what really landed for me, bro, was when I had this connection with my nan. You know, I had this connection with my nan, and I didn't want to wake up out of it, bro, because I was just letting her know, you know, I'm happy, you know, I love you. And she hadn't come to me 6 years of her passing.
Wow.
And so for me, it was like, if this is what it can do for myself, imagine what it can do for everybody else back home. So for myself, bro, I've just kind of stayed around that mahi just to try and learn as much as I can, try and get as much knowledge and tools around that space so that I can one day bring it back to our people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's part of your journey being back home now, is just trying to figure out that next phase and being able to bring it back for your people, for our people.
Yeah, bro. So, you know, because over here, I know the mindset of the people, bro, because I've lived that for so long, and you know, I was so stubborn. I had the biggest ego in the world, and that one walk, bro, that changed my life was just, it was just mind blowing. And I know that it's gonna definitely change lives back here, bro. It's definitely gonna change lives back here. And since I've been in this mahi for about 2 years now, and just testing the waters over there, I have all this knowledge to come back over here and just go like, oh, this is what I have. But I remember the last time that I come back, you know, and I had all this information that it was just oozing out of me, bro, that I just went, you know, poured it out onto people, and it just went on like, you know, deaf ears, went in one ear out the other, and because they weren't ready to receive it. And so this time for me to come back, I'm just coming over here to see, you know, who I can connect with, and just listen to their stories as well. Listen to their stories as well. And when they're ready to receive, I can go, oh yeah, this is what I've found out over on the other side that could possibly help our people, which I know it will.
And even, you know, even before you going on that men's medicine walk, things had already changed though, You're in a lot better place, you know, doing awesome things, you know, still a character, you know, still around good people. But obviously there was, like you said, there was that lack of awareness of actually what was still sitting with you. And now that you've sort of like gone through that, you know, and we're having a conversation through coffee, how, you know, the veil has been lifted, you've created this sense of awareness and now understand that there is something that you're still working through, that you still need to process, that you need to let go of. And how has that been for you, bro, to be able to release all of these, I guess, whether it's healing, whether it's realizations, and because all of this is happening internally, like you're finding these things, and do you feel you're just enjoying going through that at the moment?
Oh, there's a fine line between like doing it and then liking it, bro, because it's a shit place. It's a shit place to be in, because you're going through all of this process of bringing up all of that trauma. And, bro, I didn't really know. I thought, oh, yeah, just released a little bit there. But you got to remember that, bro, our people are falling into the thing of, like, numbing the pain through crack and drugs and stuff like that. That is actually not the problem. But what made them think of wanting to take that? But what made them think of wanting to go to that spot, and then that spot, and then that spot? You know what I mean? So on and so forth, bro. It can lead all the way back down to childhood trauma. So when we can acknowledge that and bring that up, bro, and then just let that mamai go. And I remember listening to yours and Māori Movement's podcast, is that you go to the root cause, but there's always a seed at the bottom of that. And it's about nurturing the right seeds and bringing those through. And, bro, it's been a huge healing process for me to come back, bro, because I've neglected this place for so long. Our own home, our own whenua, our cupboard, you know. catch a deer, catch a pig. That's what it used to be like. But now I'm like, fuck, I feel it. You know, I'm thinking I get to, you know, you get to feed my family. Nothing's going to go to waste there. To go up to the bush and just feel the wind on my skin now. I never used to feel anything. Now I've got emotions. Now I can cry and be all good with it. Now I can tell my brothers and my family that I love them. Never been able to say that in my life. It's been by far the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. So for me, bro, it's like, if I want change for my community, I have to be the change for myself. And if I want to do that, bro, I'm starting to break cycles within my family. None of my family members are being married. So I brought my beautiful darling over from Australia to propose to her in front of all my friends and family. And I could have had a beautiful picnic overlooking a beautiful view over in the Gold Coast, you know, but that's not who I am deep down inside, bro. So I'm going to bring you over there and break that cycle. But I love you, obviously. But, you know, to break that cycle, to show my nephews and that it's a right to love somebody, it's a right to show your emotions and your feelings towards somebody you like, you love. And so that's what I'm up to over here, bro. And my thing is, bro, now that I've done that over here, it's time for you fellas to step outside of your comfort zone and come over to Australia. You just never know. It might be one thing that just flicked your mind frame, eh? To want to, hey, there's something over here. Or if not, you can go back into your bubble, eh? Because go back into your bubble and go back home and do what you got to do. But at least try. And I think that's for a lot of our people is that we don't even try. And it's that fear. It's that fear. It's that fear of judgment. It's that fear of just the unknown. And even for me to come on a podcast like this, bro, you know, I've never done like a, you know, podcast like this that, you know, you got to come back from a lot of really, you know, top people that have been on here and sat in this seat. And so for me, that's just another form of me breaking that cycle and just stretching myself and just being, you know, trying to get normalized in that uncomfortable situation, eh, bro? It's you. So, man,
that's awesome, bro.
Whole lot of learnings, brother. Whole lot of learnings and a whole lot of unlearnings as well.
Yeah, bro, I think that's like a beautiful process, is the old unlearning and also getting familiar with discomfort. And whether we know it or not, there's so many sort of uncomfortable situations circulating our environments and circumstances, but the difference is there's a difference between being uncomfortable and being uncomfortable intentionally. You know, when you're intentional about the situations that you're going through and you know there's going to be a level of discomfort, that's going to nurture that seed to grow. And I feel, you know, the thing that I want to talk about, bro, is like you said, the hardest thing that you've ever had to do was to tell your family that you love them. And, you know, break that down for us, because like, what was your concept of love before you even realized that you could say it? You know, and like when you do break, can you just come closer to the mic too? Yeah.
So my concept of love, bro, was just having family around, just you know, Kai on the table. There was our, like, you know, that's love for us, having a roof, and just having like cousins to play with and stuff like that, bro. But it was something that was never said in my house. It was something that was never said in my house. So I just, for me, it was when it landed for me, bro, is that now that I'm on the self-growth journey, you know, I'm trying to figure my life out, is that new things start to appear for me. And what landed it for me in that time, bro, when I was going through a phase of my life, was that I didn't want the graveyard to be the first and last time for myself to say that I love you to any of my family members, bro, because it's normal. It's normal, and it's like our people wait till our family members are dead and they go to the thing and they cry and they say, oh, I miss you, I love you, you know, all of that. And I don't want that for my next generation, for my nephews. And I want them to be able to express all of who they are. Yeah, but I can't, I have to do that for myself. Everything comes back to self, bro. Everything comes back to self, bro. So,
there's a beautiful saying, bro, that says, be the change you wish to see. You know, in order to actually like see change around, you know, there has to be this sort of reflection of, instead of trying to get people to change, you know, just work hard on changing yourself. The byproduct of really putting things into yourself to be better is that people around you are going to organically sort of feel that shift and change. And what I feel that does, it plants that seed, it gives that sense of inspiration. They're like, hey, look at what Uncle's doing. Far out, you know, that's different, but it's now a possibility. right? If we don't ever have anyone around us who gives us that sense of inspiration, we have no alternative choice.
So,
We're only we can only observe what is around us. And you know, young people in general, you know, and how we sort of like how you said that when we go back to all of when we reverse engineer why people are making bad decisions, whether it's drugs, alcohol, whatever it may be, and you go all the way back, like what is creating these situations?
Exactly.
And it does come a lot of the time, it comes back to our upbringing.
Yeah.
And when we really, really think about that, you just got to think about how exposed our young people are and how much they actually take in, you know, which for me helps me to sort of like try to think about how I present myself, how I speak, you know, and even the same for you, how you're acting now, how you're behaving, how you're communicating, they're actually taking that in, because it's hard to change people who are already adults and who aren't wanting to change.
Yeah.
But when you're just around young people and you're just being, man, it's a beautiful thing.
It is beautiful, my bro. And that's quite sad, bro, because I have 4 of my little nephews, bro, and it always cuts me up talking about it. I have 4 of my nephews that are split up amongst my family, and my sister and her husband not husband but boyfriend are in jail now currently because they've been selling crack and they got caught up. And my thing, although I feel sorry for my sister because she used to be the one that held our family together, had everything sorted, but just made the bad choices for herself, is that she's ended up in there. Now the kids have to, you know, miss out on both of their parents just because of the choices, bro. And man, it's really, really sad for my nephews, bro. And I actually had one of my nephews over there doing really well with myself, but you know, the only way that he could have came over, bro, was if my dad come over with him. But my dad did come over, bro, and he wanted to come back and live his life over here, so my little nephew had to come over. And yeah, now they're just, it's just really hard being in the space of like, you know, helping people and then not being able to help your own family. And because I'm over there and the borders have only just opened up, bro, so I've, you know, first plane ticket over, I come over and just, come back, and all they need is just a little bit of love and guidance, bro. You know, that's all they need in my house as well, and a bit of structure, these, everything's just out of whack at the moment, bro. As sad as it sounds, it's a bit out of whack, so
I think even so, it's helping you continue the journey that you're on. You know, it's like, even though it's unfortunate, it's also your great sense of inspiration that encourages you, like, nah, man, I need to carry on doing what I'm doing. And for those people who might be listening or watching, bro, and, you know, they can sort of hear themselves in your story in terms of family situation, in terms of the upbringing, in terms of wanting to make that shift, being a part of hikois, because when you go on a hikoi, it's a powerful experience. But how have you sustained it? How have you been able to continue being on that journey?
My community has a big part of playing a part of my journey as well, bro, because they're just really lovely people and they're all on the same buzz as well. So it's just being with the right people, bro. You know, obviously, if you got the good and bad, you know, if you make bad choices, you're going to go down that road. If you make good choices and hang around good people, you're going to go out this road. And so I've just been hanging around the right people, bro, and gaining knowledge through them, as well as just uplifting, you know, everywhere we go, bro. It's just like they're there. Yeah, so just, yeah.
And so you've just put yourself around people who are just on the same journey, you know. And what are some of the main tools and practices that you do, bro, just to ensure that what you do on a day-to-day basis is aligned?
Yeah, so morning routine's pretty good. Gratitude as soon as I wake up out of bed. What am I grateful for? What are my values? What are my intentions for today? What are my affirmations and stuff like that, bro? So when I register that first thing in the morning, I'm already happy straight off the bat. And then when I go about my day's going to be a good day throughout the day, bro, just because of those. Plus also meditations as well. Coming back, and whenever I'm feeling a certain way, I have this tool, boom, I can drop into meditation. But then I also have gym. Never been into the gym before, moving over to Australia as well, bro. So that's a form of just a bit of a release for myself. but you also have your primal scream if you're feeling really, really, you know. So, bro, I never used to have all of these tools. You know, it was just project all my mama onto hurting other people and, you know, go about my business, go about my day. But yeah, bro, this, you know, this time around it's just coming back to say sorry to our whenua, you know, say sorry to the people that I've hurt over the years, bro, because I've neglected this place for so long. I've hurt this place for so long, and Mother Nature, our whenua, has just been there watching me this whole time, waiting for me to come home and just, you know, say sorry, or just be here, you know, and just be, my feet are planted on the ground now, and my roots are deep in the ground. And so for me, bro, it's just a form of just coming back and healing and just giving back to our whenua as well, bro. And now that I see past 5 meters, I see a wider vision and I'm clear about everything, bro. Even just talking about it giving me goosebumps, bro. It's just man, just really, really powerful, brother. And bro, our whenua has enough of her to hold space for all of our energy and stuff like that, bro. It's just been me just processing everything. And because, you know, being over in Australia, bro, I've never accepted the mahi that I've done. It's always been something that I've kind of like just pushed it aside and just, yeah, whatever, my journey is my journey, and I just don't like taking that type of stuff on. It's just that we were talking about it this morning, that humble ego. But now since I've been back and just been observing what's kind of going on and having conversations with people, bro, it's that, man, I have come a long way. You know, I have really come a long way, and I've finally accepted it, bro. I've finally accepted that I have come a long way, and yeah, bro.
It's awesome, bro.
Just taking it in, bro.
And I'm glad, bro. Glad that you are taking it in. Glad that you've finally found that sense of forgiveness for yourself to fully be able to accept everything and the changes that you've made. And I think that is usually the reason why we don't acknowledge ourselves, is because we haven't forgiven ourselves first. How can things flow in when it's been blocked off? And I feel that's the process that you've been able to do for yourself. And I honestly feel that forgiveness is one of the most difficult things for people to do, whether it's forgiving other people by the wrong that they've done or forgiving ourselves for the wrong that we've done. You know, it's a very, very difficult thing to sort of like open yourself up to do. And I've been looking and reading, and it's almost as though we're addicted to that feeling, right? We're either addicted to feeling bad, or we find it so challenging to let go of something because our identity has been formed from these certain situations or circumstances. And so talk to me about forgiveness, bro. Like, have you, what's that process been like for you?
Like, just another form of vulnerability as well, bro, for me. But forgiveness, it's just, it's been a fucking powerful process as well. Forgiving myself for all the people that I've hurt, and, you know, even like people that have hurt me as well. I actually went up to I was telling you about the bro, you know, just going up there and just telling him, you know, that I'm sorry for, you know, all the fights that we had, bro. And that was a form of healing for me, bro. And he actually forgave me. He forgave me, bro. And, you know, he's a patched up member for Whakatane, bro. So, you know, for him to do that, bro, forgive me as well, bro, I can move on from that. But there's many other people that I've hurt, and I just, you know, hope that, you know, they know that I'm sorry, bro, because I really am sorry. I really am sorry for all the people that I hurt. But I just want to move forward, and I just want this feeling for everybody, bro. You know, the way I'm feeling right now, just wanting to help all our people, because I know there's a lot of hurt people out there, bro. There are a lot of hurt people, and they just need a bit of nurturing, bit of guidance, like I said earlier, bro. And just, and I see a lot of change, bro. So my thing being back here in New Zealand, is I'm trying to highlight all the beautiful things that are, you know, actually happening in the place, in Tāne Atua, because for so long I've just said that the whole place was shit because of a few bad choices that I made for myself. But the place itself is actually not a bad place, bro. It's just the choices that I made for myself were shit. So yeah, it's just
bro, that sense of responsibility, taking responsibility and also accountability for actions in the past. And when I went through my journey of forgiveness, it was a very powerful process for me. I remember when I came back, and very aware of some of the things that I had done in terms of hurting close friends and sort of behaving in certain situations or in a particular way. And I remember I was making all of these like positive changes at this one time. And I started to feel like, hey, why am I making these changes, but I'm still feeling guilty, And so what I ended up doing is I just messaged everyone that I feel like I had done wrong by, and I just apologized. And their responses were like, it's okay. Like, they didn't need to hear that apology from me. But me, I needed to do that for me.
For yourself.
That was the gateway for me to forgive myself fully. And ever since then, bro, it was just been like a gangster release, and I was able to carry on doing the mahi that I was doing, but a lot more freer.
Yeah. It's beautiful, eh? It's beautiful, and just to be able to get rid of all of that mama, bro, and you just make room for all the new stuff that's coming in. And just nurturing and bringing up all of those beautiful things, all that positivity, happiness and joy, rather than leading with anger and frustration and always being mad and stuff like that, bro. But like now that I have these tools, it's like, what does love do in this situation? What does love do in this situation when I'm feeling mad, upset and frustrated? And there you'll find your answer.
Yeah, bro. And I think when you even ponder that, what will love do? I think people can find space to process things before reacting, because sometimes, and we've been having conversations around it this morning, that we can oftentimes react to a certain emotion depending on what's going on. But I think with a little bit more awareness in the journey that I think that yourself, myself and many others have been on, we've been able to find moments before we react where we can be like, all right, how can I respond in this moment? Or how can I sort of like let go in this moment? Sometimes it takes longer than other times, but I think just having that awareness is a step in the right direction. And, moving into what you do now, bro, because, there's been a lot of mamai, but fuck, you're doing some amazing things, bro. Talk to me about what's been going on and the things that light you up.
Bro, a lot of things, people doing really good things for themselves. That's where I get my drive, bro. I love it when I see people doing good things, whether I know you or not, bro. I'm jumping on your waka. As long as it aligns with my heart, bro, and I'm not hurting anybody, bro, what are you doing? Let's go for a ride. Let's have a talk. Let's have this convo. And because, bro, I've always had that mindset growing up around here that I was always going to work for somebody, bro. And because, let's be honest, bro, and this would be me being vulnerable, I've never been able to read and spell really well, and I'm all good with that. But my drive, bro, and my hunger to want to, learn things, I'll pick up things really fast, bro. So you can literally show me something once and then pretty much that's me if it's hands-on. And so being in this growth thing, bro, of like, bro, and you were a huge part of this, bro, when I was going through a phase of my life, when I was at the lowest point of my life. And I remember connecting with you and letting you know, bro, that when you were traveling, I think it was Europe, and you're sitting under that tree and you were sharing and your experience, bro. Well, I was just off a 4-day bender, bro. I was off a 4-day drug fucked out of my head, bro. And then I come back to my house, bro, thinking I could just be all good, walk back inside, and my partner had already, had enough of me, bro, and then had my clothes all over the balcony and just whatever. I ended up sleeping that morning. That morning anyways, bro, and when I woke up and I checked my phone, you were there expressing your emotions and your feelings, bro. And I was like, bro, I can resonate with you so much because we're from the same place. And when you were doing that, bro, I made that decision. I can either get up out of bed and take action on my life, otherwise I can sit here for like a sack of shit for the rest of my life feeling sorry for myself. And so that day I just took action on my life, bro. And then I started what you were doing, like I was saying earlier, that I was just rolling off the back of everything that you had been doing, bro, through weekly goals, through gratitude, through your values, intentions, and, so on and so forth, and getting up and going for a walk and just, all of these things, bro. So over time, my mindset started to become stronger and stronger. And then I got into visualizing, and then I got into goals, and that's where my goals started to come, because I never had goals, bro. I didn't even know what goals were about, So I started setting myself realistic realistic goals and stuff like this, bro. And then I started achieving this over time and time and time. Before I knew, I was like 3-4 months down the track, bro. Then I started getting myself into the gym, and then my mindset started to change, bro, and started to become stronger and stronger. Yeah, bro. And then, bro, before I knew, I was like halfway, but I was sharing this all over social media from the rock bottom, bro. And then people started to catch the vibe, and they say, oh, bro, I see you doing blah, 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 good for yourself and this and that, bro. But it was just, through watching you, bro. And then obviously you go through this, like, this peak, and then you drop, and then you go up again, it's just normal. But every time I had dropped, bro, guess who was there? Guess who was there? It was the brother Rand. And I was just like, this fella, hey, bro, he comes to me at the right times of my life every time, bro. And it was like you were just speaking to my soul. And so, man, I've just built momentum off it, bro, and just, just been on this journey ever since, brother. And man, it's been the best thing that, it's opened my whole, because I've let go of the ego and the stubbornness, and just ready to receive everything and anything that's going to help me get closer towards achieving my goals, bro. And then I got into the I'm going to own my own business one day. I'm not going to be working for somebody for the rest of my life. I got into that stuff. Well, what are you going to do? I'm going to own my own barbershop. I'm going to own my own clothing line, and I'm going to own my own cafe one day. And those are my 3 main goals, bro. So I've got the clothing line, my partner's got the hair salon, and I just need the cafe, bro, which will come one day.
Wow.
So, yeah, bro. But like, for me, it's just like, I know a lot of growth comes in that discomfort, bro.
Yeah.
I know a lot of growth comes in that discomfort. So for a while, bro, I remember all of last year that I was constantly chasing the discomfort, bro. But what I wasn't doing, bro, wasn't coming out of that.
Yeah.
So I'll do something real hard out, and then I wasn't coming out of it just to process it. I was just constantly miserable for a whole year, and I wasn't really learning anything. I was like, what's showing up? Nothing's really showing up, and I got really fit and stuff like that, bro. And we were on the F45 together, bro. Yeah. So yeah, my drive has kind of got me to a few places, plus the connections as well that I have with people as well, bro. But yeah, so I've got this clothing line, Bulkgains clothing. For the whānau that don't know, Bulkgains clothing out there, and it's got a bit of momentum there, bro. You just need to just keep just doing that, bro. I've been living off it for the last 7 months now. I should be playing it a lot smarter, bro, but you know what I mean? I've never had guidance.
Don't know any better,
I don't know any better, bro. So whatever information or that I gain is just from straight off the streets of me knowing. So I'm just learning as I go, bro. And I really don't know anything, you know what I mean? All my marketing and stuff like that is just coming from what I think I know. So but for what I know, it's done pretty good up until this point, bro. But I know if I want this to grow to where I think it can go, then I'm going to have to get somebody like marketing skills and stuff like that. But it's just, it's just my journey. It's a bit of a process at the moment. And I just need to take one day at a time, brother. So,
fuck, that's awesome, bro. And I'm glad, because as soon as you start to think about the trajectory of your life, it just happened by moment, by moment, by moment. And then it got onto this point where you're like, now what can I do? And now look at all of the beautiful things that have come out of it. And the thing that I'm most proud of you about, bro, is just your continuous drive to keep going. Even when you don't know, you just keep going, because you just allow yourself to be a sponge and to be a part of the process. So, brother, talk to me about like Bulkgains, bro. Like, go more into depth, like you got clothing, what does it represent?
Yep. So Bulkgains clothing represents, it's more than just a label, bro. When you buy Bulkgains clothing, you're part of a community that just thrives to push and inspire people to, bring out the best in each other.
Yeah.
Bulkgains clothing is it started from just a thought, bro. And then, just a couple of our bros at work just calling me bulk, bulk this, bulk that, bro. Can you pass me the bulk tool and stuff like that, bro? And then I got into the gym. Bro, and I lost 32 kgs in that 1 year, bro. Yeah, and that name kind of stuck because I was sharing it over social media. So I was like, it was only just last year, bro, probably 8-9 months ago, bro. And I thought, fuck, there might be something here. Let's give it a try. What's the worst that could happen if you try it, eh? Better off than a what if. So I tried it, bro. Chucked the name on a shirt, and then boom. Yeah, it's kind of built momentum off it, bro. So
fuck, that's awesome, bro. And honestly, like, we wear the gears, obviously, and it's mean training gear. It's light, it's durable, it looks fashionable, And so, I think, where you're taking it is awesome, bro. And I think when you get those structures or systems in place, it's just going to be something that's going to be able to tell your story through, and I think that's awesome that you've been able to be so vulnerable along the process that people have seen that vulnerability, they see the story, and now they can start wearing the story in terms of the clothing, which is awesome. And I think, bro, it's exciting to sort of like see what you're doing now. And there's been a new journey that you've been a part of now too, bro, and that's becoming a father.
Becoming a father.
Talk to us about that, bro. Like, like being a papa, like what are the things that you've realized, or what are some of the things that has helped influence change in your life?
Bro, before we dive into that, I just want to show them there's a quote on my arm, and this is for everybody that kind of wears this shirt. And it says the right time only comes when you get so sick of waiting that we do something about it. But that ties into a lot of things, bro. Because especially our people is that we get motivated to want to do something, and then it's our own people that kind of, that tall poppy syndrome, but you spoke about it before, and it brings us back into our shell, and we kind of, lose motivation to want to do anything for the next couple of years. But when is the right time to start, bro? The right time is now. Is right now. Take action on your life. Hey, with a little bit of less talk, more action, bro. And we'll get there, cuz.
I think that's the honesty, bro. Action is the best way to even start something. Like, how many people have ideas? How many people have started an idea and then someone else has said, oh, I thought of that.
Sure.
Like it's those kinds of things. Like everyone's a great thinker, everyone's a dreamer.
Yeah.
But the difference between a dreamer and achiever is action. That's action. The missing thing. You might never achieve it, but at least you've started. And that becomes a part of the journey that encourages you to do something else. As long as we keep taking those steps, as long as we keep taking action, we minimize the amount of noise that we have in our bloody head, because we're always thinking constantly. But as soon as we take action, it now takes that thought out.
100%. And that's why I put these like little things on our shirts, bro, is because like let's talk more actions on one of the shirts as well. But that kind of, when you're wearing that, it kind of forces you into having to live up to that too, bro, and to take action on your life. And if you're not doing that and you're wearing that shirt, bro, and people are gonna pick you out, so you gotta do the mahi. You gotta do the mahi. And like what you said, bro, it's lightweight, breathable, and it's good because you can just wear it straight out of the wash. And straight into the gym. And straight back into washing, straight back into I don't even wash it. But bro, it's an awesome space being a father now, bro. I've always wanted to be a dad, bro. I've always wanted to, even earlier than, but, when the time was right, But now our beautiful little son's here, bro. And I just want to give him the best upbringing, the best upbringing possible, because they're so pure, bro. They are so pure, bro. And they just need, the right guidance and the right love, bro. And, obviously they're going to go through their process in falls, bro, but don't fall too far, because Papa's gonna pick you up over here, my son. And how can we half our experiences of what they went through in order for them to become more successful, whether that be in love, whether that be in positivity, joy and happiness, business as well. Hey, bro, to give them the best start, because that's what they need. And like I was saying to you earlier, bro, my little 4 nephews, bro, they got both of their parents in jail. They split up, bro, what they've seen at 11 and 8 years old, bro, and even younger, bro, a lot of adult in Australia will never see in a lifetime. So that's where my mum comes from, bro. And that's what I say, like, now that the border's open, I can come back to my home, clean my house up, and give it a little bit of guidance and a bit of structure. Hey, bro. Oh, bro, fuck. I was, bro, let me just tell you the story to the whānau. I was gifted something from our tipuna, hey, bro, through that journey, ayahuasca journey. And when I went into that journey, bro, bro, fuck, it's making me sad, bro. It's making me emotional. Not sad, but happy, bro, because to have this gifted to me from our ancestors and from my iwi, bro, it's a lot to take on, but I've accepted it, bro. And what it was, bro, was that when I was in this journey, bro, she offered me the ayahuasca, and I took it, and then I zipped it, bro, and I was able, like, everything, when you're in that space, bro, everything's so visual, everything's just really beautiful, it's a sacred space, bro, and I was able to travel over to the jail, bro, to go see my sister, and I just wanted to, my intentions was, why am I in this space? of helping heaps of people out there when I can't do this for my own family. And then what Mother Ayahuasca showed me, bro, was that there's always more that you can do. There's always more, even though you can't go back home because of the borders, there's more that you can do. What else is it? I asked her and she goes, send her a letter, send her an email. And so I did, bro, got onto that, sent her that. But also was able to just sit with my sister in the jail, bro. Yeah, and just said, sorry, sister, that I couldn't come back in time to spread this medicine through our home, through our community. Maybe if I had just got back in time, it would have been the thing that, you know, flicked the switch in your mind to make better choices for yourself and your kids. And because I told you, bro, she used to be the one that held us all together. And she goes, it's all good, brother, all I want is a hug. And then so I want to go give my sister a hug, bro. So I gave my sister a hug, bro, and then this new realm just came out, bro, and it was my nan's driveway, and it was all her kids that come running out. And I said, see, sis, because of your choices, you get to miss out on this, and they get to miss out on you. And then the lady comes over, and she just offers me more, bro. She rubs my feet, and she just offers me more. I had a sip of the next one, bro, and it took me over to Mauna Pohatu. Bro, and when I got there, our ancestors and our iwi were waiting there, and they said to me, if there's anyone that's going to come back and help, you know, help our people, it's going to be you. Are you willing to accept it? And then a part of me was scared to take that mana on, bro. But I thought to myself in that process, why am I here? This is exactly why I come here, to get this blessing from our people. And if I had stood back, then I wouldn't have accepted it, bro. And then what I did was just stood forward, bro, with my arms out. I accepted, and then this new identity come over the top of me, bro, and it was just like this new head, bro, come over, and then I just started busting out the ball back to our tipuna, bro, and then all my brothers come up behind me that have been in my community over there, started pairing up behind me one by one, bro, and every time I done the poodoo, bro, both, they'll come up, bro, and we all started busting it out to them, bro. Yeah, bro, and then I thought of my nan in that time after doing the bull, bro, and she come down, bro, and then she just goes, and then took off, and there was final confirmation for me, bro, that I'm on the right journey, that I'm on the right track. And it was buzzy because 2 weeks after that journey, bro, one of my uncles, he's doing a bit of healing process over here for himself, through Rumi and that, Moko Savage. He rang me up, bro, just out of the blue. And he knew that I was in that space over there, but he done it with our main brothers over here. And he says, boy, I just wanted to let you know something, that I could see you doing exactly this for our people back home and talking in front of our people. Bro. So this is why I've been hanging around the space, bro, because I know the power within in the mahi here, and I know that it's probably take more than just one go to go around our rohi to, you know, strip away those layers. But you know, if we just, we're having these convos like with you the other day, bro, is maybe just do the wānanas and just let them process while we're still there.
Wow, that's such a powerful experience, bro. You know, being able to go through all of that, allowing yourself to be open to see these visuals. And for those of you who are listening and can't necessarily sort of like picture it, just want to say it doesn't mean to say that it isn't real. Like, it's a real experience that people go through when they're going through these sacred practices such as ayahuasca, breathwork, meditation. What people see within these spaces is a real experience for these individuals. And so for you to sort of like go through that, bro, and have these visuals and have these powerful sort of like emotions and feelings come through, you know, it's almost like an awakening. It's like a rebirth, you know, and for you to sort of like go through that. And it's no surprise how much you've changed. I'm sure after that one moment, everything clicked. You're able to see things that you're missing. You're able to find the words that you didn't know how to speak. And so for you to sort of like now be purpose driven, for you to have a lot more meaning on the actions that you take, you know, it's going to contribute to that time when you do come home, when you do provide that space, where you do provide that healing for all of our people. And to be fair, bro, you know, I've had that similar whakaaro, you know, as moko, as you know, what you're thinking. I always felt like, you know, like you would be someone great to be able to facilitate and sort of like champion being able to do that on the whenua, you know. And it's going to be a powerful thing when that does come to fruition, bro. And I'm sure that, you know, what you're doing from now until then is going to ensure that that does happen.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for that, bro. Yeah. It's you know, like we spoke about that. It's the slower the better, bro. Something that shouldn't be rushed. It's definitely something that shouldn't be rushed, bro. And yeah, even like tapping in this morning, bro. You know, to have those po and you know, giving me. I don't know what that means right now. It may come to me later on down the track. But just to know that they're there, bro, and that I'm grounded, you know, and that's the most beautiful thing about this, bro, is that I get to come home and process my journey that's happened over in Australia. Now it all makes sense to me, or why I'm here and what I got to do. And that's why I've extended my stay here, because I haven't been able to fit all the mahi that I'm trying to do over here in that space of 2 weeks, bro. So I'm here another week just so I can get a bit of mahi done and just connect with brothers like yourself as well, just to get a bit of a message across, bro, because it was funny, you know, flying over from Australia, bro, was that it was out of it, bro. I had this out of it feeling come over me. My hand started pinging and my throat started to, you know, go like I had a furball in it, bro. And I guess like when I look at that, bro, it was almost like my old identity was trying to remind me of who I was, and it was so easy for me to just go straight back into that. But because I've done so much work on myself and done so much mahi on myself, is that I got to detach away from that ego and pick and choose what path is right for me, bro. But also just trying to find my voice over here in New Zealand, because I know that once I speak, bro, that, you know, it's gonna, you know, there's a lot of people, bro, that are gonna come back at me, bro. So, you know, doing things like this is way out of my comfort zone, bro. And I'm not gonna lie, I had a bit of that same thing, bro, and that was like, you know, you got no voice, you know. It was trying to tell me you got no voice. But though, you know, just like repetitions, bro, the more you speak, the better you become in it.
100%, bro.
You know? And so this is just another one of those things of me just trying to stretch myself and just learn and just get better at speaking as well, bro, because, you know, a lot of our people got by on, like, you know, storytelling as well, bro. But how can I you know, come across with the best story, you know, and just speak my truth, bro, in that space of time, you know. So it's still part of the learning, bro. It's obviously not the flash is right yet, but it's all gonna get a lot better later on.
It's all
going to
come together,
yeah, it's
brother.
all gonna come together.
And I think, you know, there's been this sense of like you've always been, I guess, had this persona of being fearless. You know, you've been courageous in many aspects in what you do, but I think you've now found this sort of fearlessness of getting in a stronger connection with yourself, building that relationship with you. And foremost, I think has been like a great task that probably the hardest thing that you have done is actually looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, bro, what are you up to, you know, and actually sort of like having that moment to yourself and being like, bro, you've been tough, or you've been this all the way out there, but like, who are you right here in this moment? And I think that realization, or you being able to see yourself for who you are and go through all these things, bro, it's no wonder, like for me, as to why there's a lot of momentum happening in your space, you know. And being able to see you sort of like go through all of these things has been a great joy, bro. It's been a great joy to observe and to witness and just to see.
Thank you, brother. I just got my walls down now, so I'm ready to receive all their goodness. You know, before it's just like, fuck, whatever, you know. You say something dumb and then I just want to hit you for that, but, you know, and I had walls up everywhere I go. I was even looking over my shoulders all the time, you know. But now I'm just like, everything is just love and just pure and just really intentional about everything I do, bro. And I'm a lot aware of the convos that I hold with people. I'm a lot aware about the people that I surround myself with, you know. So if I can't get any good information out of you, I'm going to leave you with something positive so that you remember me by. And just you send you on your way. But if I can get something good from you, bro, while we're talking, you know, get out as much information as I can from you, and then you know, so that I can put that into my kete of knowledge, bro, and then we can have one on us, bro.
Yeah.
And we had this actually come over here, bro, and my thing was just to connect with a few of the brothers from that are local around Whakatane, Waimana, Ruatoki. And there was something awesome that showed up, is that a couple of the brothers, bro, you know, it's just something as simple as going for a walk down their heads, bro, and they've always driven past it to go and eat their KFC down their heads, bro, and not actually taking the time to just stop, walk, have a talk, and then take everything in at the same time. And they just drive past and just eat their KFC, and that's it, bro, and then drive back home. And then for them to be able to open up, express, you know, what they were going through and stuff like this, bro, and just, you know, sending it out to Tanaro and out to the universe and, you know, Mother Nature and stuff like that, bro, but also sucking all their goodness. They were just like, wow, fuck, this has been here this whole time and I've just always driven past it. And that was me for 24 years of my life. Yeah, and this is why I come back to say sorry to our whenua, you know, to just soak everything in and just be present, bro, and be home with my family.
Powerful, bro. Powerful, brother. And honestly, bro, just want to say thank you, bro, for stepping into this sense of discomfort, jumping into the podcast. And I remember seeing ages ago, you know, one of your goals was to be on the potty. And I'm glad that there was a period of time between then and now, bro, because you've come on, you've shared your powerful story, you've found the words to be able to articulate what that is for you. And just want to say thank you, bro, for being so vulnerable, for being so honest, and just want to continue, bro, just to keep fueling your fire and giving you that sense of reassurance, bro, that, you know, you are doing what you need to do for what you're doing. And so big mihi, bro, from the Planting Seeds podcast, also from me as a brother to you in the journey that you're on, my bro.
Thank you, my bro. Appreciate you so much, brother. And love out to everybody that's tuning into this. I just wish you fellas nothing but love and goodness. So yeah, thank you for having me, my brother.
Me and my bro. Awesome, e te whānau. Follow Bulkgains on social media. I'll put his plugs in the description. Capture some of his merch and some of his clothing, and honestly, you'll just feel that wairua for sure. So, mauri ora, that's us, my brother.
That's us, my bro.
Man.
For having me, my bro. Appreciate it so much, Straight up.
Awesome.